Dan Lawless here, West Ham Fan TV here at Paddington Station after Cardiff 2, West Ham 0, and I'm joined by two very special guests, two lads from the West Ham way, Dave Walker, an ex-West Ham employee, just off camera, protecting his anonymity. Yeah, thanks for coming on, lads, and I mean, look, it's a crap performance, but it's always good to see you, lads.
Well, firstly, you know, fantastic that this is our West Ham Fan TV debut.
I'm shocked.
Not ideal that it's after about 7 bottles of wine, to be honest with you. You know, we could have planned this a little bit better, but yeah, bad day at the office. Not good. Not an enjoyable day.
Yeah, I mean, like, I was thinking that, like, I've said this a few times. There's potentially, like, I've said worst performance of the season, but I think it's up there. I mean,
it's up there with the Wolves game. I think it was one of the, like you say, one of the worst ones. Disappointing to come all this way. All the fans have turned up. We've given our effort. The players haven't done the same. And when you go to a game like this, you expect at least them to put commitment and passion in. And I think it was lacking from many players today, unfortunately. Disappointed day all round.
I mean, look, Dave, before the game, me and you had a little chat about the starting lineup. We talked about Hernandez, Antonio. They didn't start. And I mean, do you think, like, looking at that game, that they should have started?
Well, listen, I've said for a long time now, you have to play your best players. You know, move politics aside. If they're fit and they're mentally ready to play, you've got to play your best players. Bottom line. Now, he hasn't done that, and to be fair, in recent weeks, it's worked out quite well without doing that. But I don't know. I just see Arnie coming on at half time, and I'm thinking, you know, I see Arnie do 20 minutes, 15 minutes, he gets a half here and there. Where today's concerned, at the end of the day, you know, what could he have done? Because everyone was shit. Everyone was shit. Every single player on that pitch was shit. And Arnie was rubbish when he came on. Hernandez was rubbish when Arnie came on. But the whole team was shit. And do you know what? The main problem for me isn't necessarily who shouldn't and shouldn't start. It's the level of intensity and level of want and professionalism that we don't show enough, especially with teams outside the top 10. And this is what drives me fucking mad with West Ham. You know, we turn out against the likes of Man United, Chelsea and this, that and the other, and we put on good performances. But when it comes to lower league teams, I worry more about them than I do top half teams. Genuinely truth, because I don't know, going today, I said to X before the game, you know, if I was Warnock, I would genuinely say you've got to get into West Ham early. Get into West Ham early, because they start so slow and they're not up for it early doors. And that's exactly what they did, and 4 minutes on they scored. And that is what fucking drove me mad. And it's
physical teams get the better of as well. It's physical teams we seem to struggle against.
Yeah, well, they do, but at the same time, we don't lack physicality. I mean, look at our centre-halves. They're giants. You know, and we've got boys that mix it in the middle of the park. We, you know, got Arnautovic up front. You know, we've got people, Antonio's like muscle on muscle. We've got the physicality, but it comes down to attitude versus ability. And do you know what? A friend of mine said to me, and I'm going to give him a shout out on this. His name's Charlie Gadsden. I think he hit it now on the head. I had a conversation with him the other day, and he said to me, because he was saying, like, Dave, you're banging about like the inconsistency, this, that and the other. And he said to me, do you know what? We lack a winning mentality. And he's absolutely right. We don't have a winner's mentality, because winners want to win every week. And I don't believe West Ham do. I believe we have a great performance, right? Yeah. And on the back of every great performance, we take our foot off the gas the following week, especially if we're playing the team outside the top 10. Yeah. I think we turn up, we're complacent, we don't do what we should be doing, and everyone just looks lost, like they don't give two fucks. Yeah. And it is the most frustrating fucking thing as a West Ham fan I've ever known.
Yeah. I mean, Dave's, you know, made some good points. And the thing is, about this, is Antonio and Zabaleta have both come out and identified this and said, yes, we do get complacent. We did have this good result against Liverpool. Then, you know, we thought we could turn up against this team. So is it just a mentality issue? Like, why is it the players know what's wrong, but they can't actually implement it when we play these smaller sides?
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to know, mate, to be honest, because the thing is, this has always been the West Ham way. Like, ever since I've supported West Ham, it's not like it's a new thing. You know, this has been going on for years and years and years and years. We play well against the big teams. We don't play well against the small teams. So it's very hard to actually pinpoint exactly what the problem is.
Why is that? Because we have different owners, different players, different managers, same shit.
I know, exactly, mate, and that's why it's so hard to actually know, because it is impossible to say what it is, because you say different managers, different players, all different, yet the same thing happens. We can't perform against the smaller sides, and it must be like almost an ego thing that they go in thinking, right, we're better than Cardiff, we can do this, we're going to win this game, and they don't start with that intensity like they should, and get like they do against the bigger teams. And it is frustrating, because we will never move on to the next level if we continue to do this, because we will always be, you know, beating your Liverpools or your Arsenals or whatever one day, and then losing to Cardiff, Burnley, Huddersfield, whoever, and we'll never move on to the next level until we can get that word which Dave and I always say on the podcast we do, consistency, and we just lack consistency, and have done ever since I've supported the club.
Yeah, it is frustrating. Actually, I want to find out your thoughts on what do you think of Hernandez overall, like, and what he sort of brings to the team.
It's an interesting question, and it's one that sparked a massive debate between me and X, especially on the podcast, and it's so strange because on the podcast, for as long as Hernandez has been here, I've backed him and I've said he needs more game time, and he's a good player, he's a fox in the box, he's been there and done it. We should be grateful to have Hernandez at our football club. At the same time, I personally believe in, if you've got fully fit players, and you've got players that are mentally right, that want to give everything to the football club, if you've got that combination, your best players have to start. It's a no-brainer for me.
Yeah.
So that would then mean Hernandez gets swapped for Arnautovic. And I also question, I don't truly believe, but question that Hernandez can play up front by himself.
Yeah. I don't think he quite fits into this system.
Possibly not, but Arnautovic does. I mean, he is for me an all-round striker.
We did look.
Everything.
We looked better, and that's not saying much, but we did look a bit better in the second half when you had like Hernandez. We did look great still, but we looked better than we did in the first half when Antonio and
and listen, credit to Pellegrini. You know, he changed it up. I think he had to go for a brand new, fresh approach, because what he was doing clearly wasn't working, and he went for a 4-4-2, I think. So we kept Arnautovic and Hernandez together. But at the end of the day, it sort of was almost irrelevant what formation he played, because everyone quite clearly didn't give a fuck who turned up today. And that's what drives me mad. Like you were saying earlier, X, we've always suffered it. It's the West Ham way. You have these days and you expect and you get disappointed, this, that and the other. I genuinely, maybe naively think that we've reached a point where we shouldn't be having those days anymore. We've spent £100 million on players, we're spending shitloads of money on wages, we're appointing the top fucking manager, who's the third, maybe second now, highest paid manager in the Premier League. We shouldn't be doing this anymore. And it's just so frustrating to watch us play teams that we should be beating, and we're not beating them. Why? Not because of quality, because we don't give a fuck. And that's the problem. Because when we turn up against Chelsea, Tottenham, Man United, Arsenal, Liverpool, you name it, we do give a fuck and we get results. Why? Because we're good enough. We've got the quality there. We've got quality in that squad in abundance. But the winning mentality shows that we should be doing it week in, week out, and we're not. And that needs to be addressed, 100%.
One thing I want to get both your opinions on, I'll start with UX, is 7th place. What are a chance? Do you think we don't stand a chance now? Do you think we can still pull it off?
I think we can still do it. I mean, everyone seems to be quite inconsistent at the moment. I mean, the main rivals are Wolves, Leicester, Everton, I think. I'm trying to think who else is up there, but I think Watford, that's it, that's the other team, Watford. So I think we can still do it. It's in our hands, but you never know, you just never know. I mean, looking at the fixtures, really, we've got Chelsea and Man United away, Tottenham away, so, but at home, the home games are all winnable games.
Huddersfield, Everton,
Southampton, exactly. So you look at those fixtures, and actually at home we've done quite well this season, so in theory we should be able to get 7th, and that is what we should be aiming for, because I'm a believer that European football is what we should look for. Some fans think not, some fans think we haven't got the squad for it. but you've got to aim to that next level. The next level is playing regular European football for us, and so we should be aiming for 7th. And then if we get 7th, we should be putting a solid team out to do well in Europe. That is the next level for West Ham, and it frustrates me that other people just are happy to be plodding along, not aiming for that. You've got to aim for that. I think we can do it, but as I say, anything can happen. Who knows? We're just so inconsistent. It's just so hard to categorically say, yeah, we're going to do that, because next week we might batter Huddersfield and then the week after go and lose to Everton. You just never know what's going to happen, and that is the beauty of supporting West Ham, but it is also the frustration of supporting West Ham as well.
Yeah, I mean, on that, I have no doubt that Pellegrini would probably do better than Bilic did it in the European qualifiers. But getting to that, do you think then, I mean, from the 7th, do you think it's all right? Do you think after that performance now that we don't have what it takes to go on and get 7th, or do you think we could still possibly snatch it?
I mean, listen, we might get 7th. We could get 7th. We're still in the mix for 7th. I mean, there's 30 games being played and we're in the mix, so that means that with 8 games left, we probably still will be till the death. But I'm not being funny. Like, you look at the clubs above us. I look at the 2 teams above us. I look at Watford, I look at Wolves, and I look at them and I think, I would take West Ham's squad over theirs. But do you know what? They want it more than we do. They want it more than we do. It's as simple as that. And I don't know what it is, because it's so fucking weird and so frustrating, because like, we've got a good group of lads there. We've got a good group of lads. Like, the character's right, the dressing room's right, the ability's right, the quality's right. So many things fall into place. But when it comes to certain games, we don't turn up, and I don't know what the solution is. I really don't know what the solution is. But do you know what? It seems to stem from starting early, starting the game with intensity, getting on your toes, chasing your man down, creating opportunities, just being on it.
Yeah.
And I think if we'd have done that today, we'd have overpowered them, because we've got too much quality for them. But actually, as it happened, the quality was irrelevant because we didn't want it as much. So actually, it was like an FA Cup game today.
Yeah.
Cardiff were probably a equivalent of a championship club, but we probably could have played the League One club today with that mentality and lost, like we did against Wimbledon. Because why? We didn't want it as much as the opposition, and that is a fucking real problem for West Ham, and it's so annoying.
I tell you what, on a positive note, has been nice about this season. You guys, I know, will definitely rate this. Not talking about the board, not having to, the amount of conversation. I said the board. There's been hardly any talk about the board this season, and it's been lovely, isn't it? It's been a breath of fresh air, just not having to have that situation. When we lose, it's because the team ain't good enough. We ain't got to say about lack of investment. It's the fucking team ain't good enough, and it's it's been nice, I think.
Yeah, listen,
without that division,
it's been great. I mean, we've been through it, because at the same time, when you talk about the board, especially, we've had a fair bit of shit, because we backed the board when no one else did. And I'm pleased we did, because it's come to fruition now, and I think we've got some credibility for that, because they've, in the summer, delivered what I always believed they would deliver, which is brilliant. Investment, top-class manager, etc., etc.
To be fair, you did have the same mindset of mine that summer was their last chance.
100%.
It was their last
100%.
chance.
Yeah, I'm pleased you said that, because I want to go on record and say that. If they didn't deliver that summer, I would be with everyone else and saying, right, ball have got to move on. But they did, which is fantastic. And it is nice. But at the same time, what people have to understand, I don't want to harbour this point either, but I do just want to say this. The board genuinely love West Ham United, 100%, Anyone that's met them, anyone that's spent time in their company, either on air or off air, whatever you want to call it, they do genuinely love West Ham United, and they want the best for this football club. So they've done their bit, so it's nice that they can do their bit and then take a sidestep and leave the rest to the football club. And I don't know, Pellegrini's come in, I think he's done well, I think his signings have been incredible at times, to be quite honest with you. Yeah. But you know what? Pellegrini's probably sitting at home tonight being as frustrated as we are, thinking, why the fucking hell are my players not giving me 110%? When all week through training they have done, but for 90 minutes on Saturday they haven't, and we've just got battered by Cardiff, who are, inevitably going to be relegated. It's not good enough.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think the board could take a lot of credit from this season. They've improved from how they've been running the club. But there's one thing, and I want to ask you about this, X. There's a lot of rumours going about a £25 million budget in the summer. I mean, what do you know about it? What do you think about it?
I think that's probably quite accurate. I mean, the board are going to go down the financial fair play route and say that we have to have 25 million because of the wages and so on. They can't go over it. But what you have to bear in mind is they are going to add money that we get through sales. So if you think Hugo, Hernandez, Pires, Obiang, Mazaraku, Chicharito, possibly Andy Carroll's wages, the Zabaleta possibly if he doesn't stay. There's a hell of a lot of wages and money freed up. I mean, whilst it could be a 25 million starting, with all that brought in, you could be looking at 85 to 100 million, and if it's that amount, then that is fine. I do believe the board cannot just have the summer they've had and then not ever match that again, because otherwise there's no point. You're just going to do that and you're going back on yourself. So they do have to spend this summer, and they do have to spend wisely, and I think if they don't, it will backfire on them. But if 25 million plus player sales excuse the noise, should be 85 to 100 million. In my opinion, that's acceptable if it is that amount.
Yeah. So even if, say we released everyone on a free, but we freed up wages, could we exceed the 25 million if we're just freeing up wages?
I think so, yeah. I think we could, because I think the 25 million is the sort of what we could maybe spend on transfers, but then obviously we could bring in other frees. You can get players for a cheap amount but high wages, so loans as well. So I think if we manage to get, I think Carroll will go. I think that's inevitable. Carroll will go. I'm not sure we're going to see him again this season because of the injury he's got. He'll go. That's 90 grand immediately off the wages. If Hernandez goes, that's 120 grand off the wages. Already, but just because of two players, you've got an extra 200,000 roughly to spend on wages.
Let's talk about Wilshere as well.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think we'll cancel his contract and we'll give him another season?
I think he'll get another season. I think they'll give him that and then possibly look at it then, because he is due to resume training in 2 weeks, and then they're going to see how he goes in those 2 weeks. So hopefully if he does all right, he might be able to play next season, because I think a fit Jack Wilshere is someone you want in your team. The problem is, when do you get a fit Jack Wilshere? That's the problem. And I think, if you was to give it, I'd give him 1 more year if it was me, and then if he doesn't do it again, then I think maybe it's time to say goodbye. But I'd like to think we will bring players in. I mean, potentially we're going to have to bring in 4 new forwards if Arnie, Hernandez, Pires and Carroll and Hugo all go. We need 4 new forwards, and the board are not stupid. The board will know we need 4 new forwards, and if they don't deliver it, well, then the criticism they get will be deserved, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, thank you so much, guys, for coming on.
Thanks,
It's a pleasure. Like I said, I always enjoy bumping into you guys. 2 lovely guys. Do check out. You guys have started. You've got your new events now. I believe in Leytonstone, O'Neill's. Is that right?
Yeah.
O'Neill's Thursday evenings.
Yes. Thanks for the plug on that, Dan, by the way.
No worries.
So for those that know about the West Ham Way pre-match event, that has been very successful over the last 2 years at the East Ham Working Man's Club. We've now moved from that venue, reluctantly, because they've sold to property developers, which is shit. But we've moved on to O'Neill's in Leytonstone. Really, really, really good venue. We've had 2 fantastic events there so far. One was the Goodbye Ginge event, which hopefully we're looking to release the digital download on.
Good, because I'm gutted I missed that.
ASAP. Yeah, Ryan and Nicky were there.
Yeah, they loved it.
Yeah, I think everyone did. It was brilliant. And then we had Ludo, which was the pre-match event. So we're now looking at pre-match events and evening events under the West Ham Way. Listen, there's so much going on at the moment. All you have to do is follow me and X and make sure that you keep tabs on what's going on, because the next one is Teddy Sheringham on the 16th of March, so Saturday week. I could talk all day about this, but listen, just come along, see what you think. If you like it, come back. If you don't, what's wrong with you?
Yeah. Well, lads, like I said, thank you so much for coming on. Like I said, do check out the event. And first time getting you guys on.
Oh, that's mad.
Mad after all these years. I didn't realise it. Hopefully not the last. And like I said, we'll see you guys soon. Hopefully Huddersfield, we do pick it up when we do get 3 points. Top 10 finish. Well, I'll be happy with that myself personally.
But I would be more happy if you spoke to us again when we were sober.
Yes, we will. We'll try and do that. Thanks, Dave.
Top man, Dan.
Cheers, X. We'll get Mike get his hand in. Cheers.